So we've been at We Are LegalTech today by Bristol+Bath LegalTech, and we've just seen the keynote and we've come out for a drink. How was your day? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely loved it. I think it's brilliant to have an event like this in Bristol, and I'm Bristol+Bath actually. I think it's fantastic. It's so rich with legal tech and innovation within the area. So to bring it all together today, and what a fantastic venue as well. Amazing
I know.
venue.
Iconic.
Yes.
It was really unique, actually, wasn't it? The having the plenary sessions in the debating chamber.
Yeah.
And having everybody have their own mic really.
I loved that bit. Yes.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
Yes.
That you could just hear everybody.
Yes.
When the questions were being asked. I thought that was quite funky.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought the venue was great. The speakers were brilliant, and the keynote speech by Dawn on resilience was, definitely something to take home and put into practice.
Exactly, perfect for the end of the day. Very interactive, quite fun, quite light, but so relevant to everybody's work now and everybody's work in the future, and loads of takeaways that we can put into action tomorrow.
Yeah, I think with AI it's really difficult, isn't it? Because I think everybody is at a different stage and nobody has all of the answers, but we are in this together, even with our clients. So it's a journey that's got to continue, and it's great to have events like this that you can hear other perspectives in terms of what people are doing.
Yeah, I must say that after today, having listened to some of the talks and chatting to people just in the sort of breakout sessions, that there are lots of people I'm going to be getting in contact with after today, just to flesh out some of the conversations or maybe ask some advice on what they've done or what they found when they were doing similar things to what I'm doing in my firm.
Yeah.
Did you find sort of similar? Or did you find inspiration pockets?
I think the fact that people are quite open about it, and it's not actually we want to guard what we're doing was actually quite open. So it was really interesting hearing some of the discussions today about people's approach and also where their areas of focus are on. So I was in the Meriden West session earlier on client, and that was quite interesting in terms of the research that's been done around sort of the different generational gaps and where they are, and how law firms and how they develop them to bring them on to the next level was really sort of interesting. I would have liked it to have gone on for longer. It was quite a short one, but really punchy. And
it's always a challenge of the day. But do let us know at BBLT if there are any sessions or speakers that you found particularly interesting. We can always invite them back to do a talk or to do a session that we could get into some of the subjects in a little bit more depth and just really dig into those subjects a little bit further.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there was one on pricing this afternoon that I missed, but had really good feedback from the team on it. So I'm looking forward to the debrief on that one later in the office.
Fantastic. And I think one of the joys of being here today and having so many different sessions on different subject matter meant that you can sort of dip in and out of things that are directly related to your role or not directly related to your role but might be inspiring. Did you find anything particularly were setting off any fireworks of interest for you today?
Yeah, I think that the diversity of thought in terms of the different teams certainly within law firms, and bringing those together, because it's, I think very much, especially AI is not just sitting in one team. It's prevalent throughout firms, and so actually understanding, the liability points, and that's a challenge that every firm is tackling at the moment because the pace of change is so quick. And then from the HR side of things, and actually the people who are delivering this, and so it did definitely make me think about, okay, what can we do to make sure that our team is fully equipped, and also bringing that diversity of thought from across the business.
And some of the, that's a really good point. I think some of the interest for me today was not necessarily about the technical points or even, the sort of approach points, but some of the philosophical questions that were posed and thought about, so in the context of AI, what are people for? And also, in terms of responsibility around AI and practicality, but also fairness and access and, that sort of accessibility gap that we have in society to these kinds of tools. So there were a lot of questions posed, some theories posited, but we definitely haven't got to the bottom of some of those philosophical questions earlier.
No. Yeah, and I think as well, aside from the tech, it's that human element, isn't it? Working with clients, it's very much still about that human interaction and being able to fully engage, because AI is great, and lots of the work that we do will be commoditized and shaped by AI, but then there's still that very valuable judgment piece, advocacy, and all, sort of knowledge and experience that clients still need. So there's definitely a place, but I think, the human in terms of how you engage with AI, but then how you deliver that to clients is going to be key.
Absolutely, and I think one of the speakers made the point earlier that, clients buy from people that they like.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good point.
It is. I remember sending an email, it must have been about 20 years ago, to the firm, basically with the heading, people buy from people they like, to the partners, and just saying, so you've got to be personable, and you've got to be interested in terms of what their issues are and what they're doing. And so it's really interesting you say that, because I remember the heading and then getting an email from a partner going, that email you just sent was really just hit home. It's like, yes, but it's true. People buy from people they like. Yeah,
absolutely. And if you're thinking about cross-selling your services, you've got to be open and interested in what
absolutely,
in what's going on for your clients and and thinking about how you can help them and how you can add value to your client over and above the contracted statement of work.
Yeah, and I think that's, we had a chat earlier, and I think that's definitely one of the areas that I love as part of my role, is the ability to actually go into a client's business and try and understand, what are their key objectives, what are they trying to achieve, and more importantly, what does value look like to them, and then how do we apply that to the solutions that we develop or the services that we deliver. So it's absolutely key.
And so, have you got any tips for our listeners around how to be that personable person that people want to buy from?
I think, it's being curious, isn't it? If you're I'm really curious by nature anyway. I want to know how things
I call it
work.
nosy when I'm...
Actually, I was trying to be polite, but it is. Just having that curiosity to go, actually, how does this business work? And what are what's on your agenda? What are you looking at? And where do you want to be in 5 years' time? And what's important to you? These are all questions that are not... I think there's a tendency with law firms to want to have all of the answers, to go in there as knowing it all, but actually...
The absolute expert.
Yeah. And I think clients really appreciate that curiosity and interest that you're taking in their business. So, I think that's... be curious.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tara, thank you so much. Great to talk to you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
We should start our own podcast. I think we'd be fabulous at it.